seen a lot of self-tapes in my day, and especially in the past 8 to 9 months. Some of them have been fantastic. Some of them have been interesting. A few of them have been really memorable. The worst self-tape, ultimately, we were working on a musical and someone sent in simply just the voiceover. So it was a black screen and we just heard the voice, which is not very useful for us when we're working on the theatrical production. We need to know what the body's doing in relation to that voice. So although we were able to correct it, we were able to reach out to the actor and say, hey, you sound great, but we need to see you as well. And they were able to send in another video that had both the voice and the face attached. It wasn't an ideal start. And if we had a faster turnaround, it may have meant that actor would just not be in consideration anymore. For that same project, we had an actor who had sent a very clear voiceover vocal performance where we could see their mouth moving, but the audio did not line up, which is hard. I get, yes, with rehearsal and with some finesse, you can sort of zhuzh that vocal performance, but by and large, we want to see it in real time, one take straight through. So that was also a less than ideal tape, but again, we were able to rectify it. My favorite self-tape that I guess would have been considered perhaps also one of the worst, but the actor was able to make it work, was maybe 3-4 years ago. We were working on a project and the actor was like, look, I can't get to a quiet spot in my house. So I'm going to do this entire self-tape from the front seat of my car. And they found context in the song to really make it work as to why they were in a car. And it ended up being hilarious and memorable. And so they were able to take a circumstance and say, look, I can't get to a quiet spot and get into the car and hold our attention the entire self-tape. And so I thought it was pretty genius. You work with what you got, and what that actor had was a nice interior of a car to really wail. It still stands out in my mind as a really interesting self-tape. And to this day, I tell actors, like, you don't need a perfect setting. I don't need a blank wall. If you're doing it in front of your shower curtain, okay. If you're doing it sitting on the toilet in front of your shower curtain, okay. Even now, I don't have the perfect setup. I've got windows behind me, which is generally, from a lighting perspective, a big no-no. But it's what I've got, and it's what I can make work. And so for an actor, try to just make it work. But ultimately, remember what we're looking for, right? We're looking for a self-tape that gives us insight to who that actor is. That means we need to hear you and we need to see you. But so many of those other details really don't matter. Yes, there's a preferred blank background and strong lighting with a ring light. And yeah, it's a nice polished look. But if you don't have that set up for whatever reason, that's okay too. Ultimately, that stuff will happen during production. What I want to see is who you are and what you're going to bring to that role. But I ultimately want to know who you are. And without all of those pieces of the puzzle, it's hard to adjudicate a self-tape appropriately.